Hello, my name is Roshan and I am back to my favorite place. It's been quite a while since I filmed a video here. This is the place where I work, and once again I'm talking about a book that I recently read. That is The Great Gatsby by Fitzgerald. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I believe that this book is a typical example of clickbaits. Like right now, it's happening on YouTube and on the internet. I believe that this book is that, The Great Gatsby. It's such an interesting title, honestly. This was one of the reasons why I picked up this book, because the name, it appealed to me. Last week I read a book by Murakami that was Norwegian Wood, and main character's favorite book was this book, The Great Gatsby. And he talked about this book in that book in such a fond manner that I just couldn't stop. And this book was already waiting on my shelf. I think it is a classic. Yes, it is a classic, and it's a quite thin one. But I usually don't dislike things, especially a movie or books. If I have started something, I feel like I find different reasons to go through everything. But here, boy, it was such a challenging read. There are not even 150 pages. Yes, this book is just of 148 pages, and it was really challenging. I love American literature or American culture. Like, it does look very tempting from outside, from an Indian perspective. It's really attractive to read about it and to watch movies. And this story is set in 1920s. That era where alcohol or jazz music was getting popular, dancing and all those things was happening in America. And I am interested in that thing, but I just felt that reading it was just too tedious. I don't know why. Maybe it was the language. I just said that it's my habit. If I have started something, I feel like I have to finish it, but I need to learn a lesson. This was a quite thin book, so it is acceptable. It is acceptable that this is not a very thick book. But what if I am wasting my time, reading fiction? We have such a little amount of time, right? We cannot read everything, we cannot watch everything. So I'm just gonna remind myself and remind my viewers, or if somebody is watching this video, I'll just remind you, if you do not like something, please stop reading it or watching it. Or maybe you can give it a second try or third try, but if it feels too tedious, just stop doing it. And now you can see there is a whole group of people. They just wanted to be here, but I'm not going to invite them. So the book is narrated by this guy, Nick, who has moved to this American city, New York. This story is narrated by this character, Nick, who describes this book or describes this character Gatsby in such a mysterious manner. And it's a very realistic book, I would say. To most extent, it is a very realistic book. It tries to, if you want, I don't know how to describe this book genre-wise, because it felt mysterious. Of course, it was mysterious because the way Nick was, our narrator, describing this character, the Gatsby, it felt mysterious, and then it was quite realistic too. Romance, I don't know whether, I haven't read that many romance books to categorize it in that sector, but I have seen enough movies, I have seen enough romantic movies. But I have a feeling that I'm going to love the movie, because I watched the trailer and it looked completely different from my imagination. So this is one of my other hobbies or habits, you could say, that whenever I complete a book, I try to find movies of it and I see what I had imagined and what is imagined by some other directors or Hollywood. So the first line of this book is very interesting, and it made high hopes for me just reading this title, reading this second line of the book. It is not actually the first line, but the second line, and just reading this, I thought that this was going to be amazing. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you have had. So I thought that this book was going to be about, some morally, you could say, a moral compass for the main character. But I just said earlier that I do love American culture, and it's quite fascinating to look at from the lens of people like us, from an Indian lens. So this is it for today's video. Please let me know if you have read this book and whether you liked it or not. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you. Bye.